Hello, I'm Fred Sobotka. I'm the president, founder of FRS Consulting. I'm a DB2 consultant based in Portland, Oregon, and formed a company about 6 years ago after being a DBA for a while. My client base is a wide range of small, medium businesses, startups, Fortune 500, and law enforcement, public safety. And one thing they all have in common is a pretty strong transactional OLTP environment. So when PureScale was announced, that was a big change for me to see IBM really focusing on strengthening the OLTP side of the house. It's always been a strong OLTP platform, very easy to tune, very reliable, very consistent, but you inevitably get these questions about, well, what if there's a failure, a significant failure of one of the components? And HADR, active-passive clustering was an option for many years, but with PureScale, it was much more compelling because you had a complete sysplex of systems that could all take over for each other if anything went wrong. And they were all producing work and value to the customer while they're all running. So that was a big improvement, and I'm really glad that they stole that from the mainframe side. Customers are really excited about PureScale because it really simplifies many aspects of high availability and now disaster recovery in an OLTP environment. Whereas in the past, you'd be looking at either something like queue replication or HADR to create your offsite DR copy. Now PureScale has even got a way to extend the InfiniBand network over to a remote site, maybe metro mirror style, a few kilometers across town. So you're seeing what can easily be a very complex set of pieces integrated out of the box by PureScale. The fact that it's a cluster is very well implemented through the software. It's aware of all the things that have to be there in order to function. And these cluster management processes that are part of PureScale handle the failover and handle the recovery of whatever small amount of information was being processed on there. Those are big things to have taken care of for you. But primarily, I have customers interested just because it's active-active clustering. And that's pretty hard to pull off. When you look at competing high availability implementations, it's usually an active-passive. You have some kind of a heartbeat switch, you have a primary partition or LPAR or something, and then it tries as quickly as possible to flip over to a different node and share that underlying storage. That still costs you seconds, maybe a minute or more of downtime, and it's usually pretty obvious to the applications. DB2's got some client reroute logic that can make certain failures look like a transaction failure, but that kind of a failover process can be time consuming. With PureScale, that's really, really cut down because the other nodes are still running, and the client reroute capabilities are putting you into an active node that's been working the whole time, not a node that just got promoted from an inoperative state. What I like about PureScale is that to the application, it really does look and work like a monolithic database. Any member of the PureScale cluster, any member can access all of the data no more slowly than any other member can. They have local caches, but then there's also a shared cache that they can all access on the cluster facility. So what that gives you is an application that is completely blissfully ignorant that there are 2, 3, 4, 12, however many nodes, up to 128, that are sharing access to that data and sharing the workload in an optimal fashion. When you don't have that cluster awareness, your application is much easier to change, upgrade. The cluster is easier to upgrade. If you don't have cluster awareness, then you have to re-examine the cluster awareness aspects of your code whenever you change the cluster. So if the DBA decides I need to adjust the way the data is distributed across these nodes, that could impact the application design. So it's a difficult process because it's rarely going to affect just one team. Those types of scenarios almost always involve the DBA team and the application development team. So they've got to collaborate now to make sure that when the DBA restructures the way and redistributes information across the cluster, that the application is going to behave accordingly and suddenly not suffer. I'm Fred Sobotka. I'm a DB2 consultant with FRS Consulting, based in Portland, Oregon. You can find out more about me at frsconsulting.com, and you can read my blog about DB2 and other aspects of data management on idug.org.